Okay, we've got the live stream up. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got a new microphone rig, and hopefully the sound will be a lot clearer. I did a test, and it actually sounds pretty great. So, yeah, looking forward to using this. Gonna wait a little bit to make sure you guys have the chance to get online. I'm gonna pull up the chat so that I can see your guys' questions. Let me know if you're having any trouble seeing the video or reading it. Wow, listening to it. Um, Everything's running good on my end here. Again, I just want to make sure that you guys get 100% awesome quality. Where's the pop out chat? Do 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 do. There we go. And I'm just waiting for it to tell me how many viewers there are. Right now, there should be a couple, hopefully. Huh? Doesn't say how many people are viewing anymore. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Right. Huh. Apparently, YouTube does not tell me how many people are online watching it anymore. Oh, there we go. Now I see it now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started since I've got a lot of stuff to do. And I want to make sure you all have the chance to jump in when you can, ask questions when you can. But for the most part, this is just going to be, just going over that quiz review. So right here is our formulas that you will need to have memorized. Remember that the pyramid is 1/3 base area times the height, or you can simplify that differently. You could say base area times the height all over 3. Now, again, remember that the height is the height of the solid. The cone is going to be very similar to this one. Since the base is a circle, we replace the capital B with the pi r squared. So here's how we look. 1/3 pi r squared times the height, or we can say pi r squared h. We can write, I promise, all over 3. Now, on the cylinder, it's going to be essentially a modification of the prism. So let's write the prism formula first. Our prism is going to be base area times the height. So the cylinder, we replace b with pi r squared. Boom, there you go. Volume's actually a lot easier to do. It's not as complex with the moving parts, but we still have to do the same work in terms of finding base area. All right, give me a quick second. All right, cool, I can see my volumes now. Alrighty, let's take a look at number 1, volume of our triangular prism. I noticed a common mistake on your guys' quizzes. A lot of you didn't use all the information from your picture. So for instance, this 4 that's over here, you should be rewriting it there. That's just going to help you. It's not there to hurt you. Okay. So my base is a triangle. So I should aim to use my 1/2 base times height. Well, this base is going to be this length here. My height is going to be the extension going straight up and down from the base. So right away, I'm noticing that we need to use a special right triangle. How did I know it's a special right triangle? Well, it's an equilateral triangle, so that means all 3 of those angles should be 60 degrees. When we draw the altitude in, it's going to cut that angle up top in half. So we automatically get a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So our bottom length of 4 gets split in half, so now we have a 2. So I'm just going to use my special right triangle rule. I'm going to say that I have a 30, 60, 90. So I'm finding the long leg, which is going to be 2 rad 3. All right. So now let's take a look and see that, hey, that's our height. Right there is our height. That is that length there. So we just substitute. So we say 1/2 of 4 times 2 rad 3. So when you take 1/2 of 4, you're going to get 2. 2 times 2 rad 3 will get you 4 rad 3. So that's your base area. Now the height of your solid, again, a lot of you confused the height of the base with the height of the solid. Remember, we're going away from the bases, or the distance between your two bases. So we're going to be using that 9 as our height. So volume, again, writing out my formula, I'm going to have 4 rad 3 times 9. So that's going to get me 36 rad 3. And then what are my units? Feet. So it's going to be cubic feet. Ethan, let's see. What's up, dude? Hey, Ethan, could you tell me how the volume sound? Because I did a test recording. It sounded good on my end, but I wanted to hear how it sounded on your end. Just let me know, because you're my boy. So let's take a look at number 2. The volume of our right pyramid. Good. G God. There we go. Okay. So in this pyramid, if you take a look, I did not give you the height of the pyramid. Instead, I gave you the slant height. And that you can tell because it goes to the edge of your base, right? So this point of intersection here is not the center of your base. The center of your base is right here. And that's where your height is going to be drawn. Your height's going to go straight up and down. Well, what this does for us is it now kind of opens for us an opportunity to then draw a triangle. Now, I know from this angle it doesn't look like a type of triangle we would use, but again, we're drawing a 3-dimensional shape on a 2-dimensional page. So instead, I'm going to draw it going this way with the slant height coming down this way. That was a bad angle. There. So this is actually going to be our right triangle. Now this length of 6 gets cut in half to a length of 3. So one question I actually had someone ask me, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I had a student ask me yesterday, Mr. T, how do you know when to use a special right triangle versus the Pythagorean theorem? Well, it always depends on what you're given. If you have angles involved, you're probably going to use a special right triangle. Probably. I don't think we've done trig in this unit yet. But to kind of piggyback off of that, whenever you're given a right triangle and you're given two sides, you're 9 times out of 10 going to use the Pythagorean theorem. And so in this case, I have 2 sides and I'm missing the third side. Again, one more thing, another mistake, common mistake. I don't want you guys making anymore. It's killing me. These are your legs. This is your hypotenuse. So we should be doing legs squared plus legs squared equals hypotenuse squared. We're still putting the numbers on the wrong side. If it's a hypotenuse, if it's your longest side and it's across from the right angle, you got to put it by itself in the equation. Okay? So if you notice that this is a Pythagorean triple, You'll know that h is 4. If you didn't see that, you can solve out the rest of the work. We'll get the value of 4 from there. Okay, so my height of my pyramid is 4. The other thing I noticed, a lot of you guys were using the perimeter of the base instead of the area of the base. We can't use that, okay? So here's my base. What is the shape of my base? Well, let's take a look. 6 and 6. Pretty sure that's a square. So you're just going to do 6 times 6. So there's your base area. Now we can do the volume. I'm going to do the second formula just because why not? Base area times the height all over 3. So we're going to have 36 times 4 all over 3. Now, I know that I can do 36 divided by 3 first. That's going to be getting me 12. 12 times 4, 48 cubic yards. All right. Let's take a look now at number 3. We're working backwards here. What's up, Elijah? Volume of a cone is 144 pi cubic inches, and the height is 12 inches. You're welcome, Elijah. I don't know what you're thanking me for, but you're welcome. So the volume of our cone, we start with the formula. We start with what we know. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times the height. Be nice, Ethan. Elijah's coming in to swoop your title. Okay. So check this out. We know the volume. We know the height. We're going to substitute what we know and work our way backwards. So we're going to have 144 pi equals 1/3 pi r squared times 12. So check this out. Now I'm going to do a little bit of combining like terms, but not really combining. It's really, we're simplifying, right? I'm going to take 1/3 of 12. So that's the same thing as saying 12 divided by 3. That gets you 4. 4 pi r squared equals 144 pi. Now we're going to divide out 4 pi. And so now you do 144 divided by 4. That should get you 36 is equal to r squared. Take the square root of both sides. So r is equal to 6. Now you'll notice I left some space there because even though we're not calculating an actual volume, this length still has a unit. Okay, this is going to be inches. It's a length, not a volume, not an area. This is 6 inches. Okay? All right. Find the volume of the figure and leave your answers in terms of pi. So check this out. We got two figures. We have a cone and we have, okay, that was weird. And we have a cylinder. So what we're going to do right now, right meow, is we're going to find the information for both of these. Remember that you need the height and the radius for both formulas. Well, considering that the cone, okay, that was kind of cool but weird. The cone and the cylinder both are on top of each other. That means they must have the same radius. So we're going to take half of 18. That's going to get me 9. So 9, 9. Now for our cone, the height has to come straight up from the base, which I don't have. That's my height I need. However, we do have that slant height, and the story goes that when there's a right triangle, With two missing sides, well, with a missing side, two of those sides, we can do the Pythagorean theorem. So let's go ahead and do that. I got the room over here, so I'm going to do it here. If you need to go off to the other side of the page, that's fine. So we're going to say h squared plus 9 squared equals 15 squared. So again, if you recognize this pattern, you'll notice it is a triple. If you don't recognize it, it's fine. It does not hurt to do it again. Right, just a nice little refresher for anyone that's forgotten how to do some math. Let's see here, that's 144. Ooh, look at that. Just as I suspected. Boom. So it turns out that both figures have the same height, which is totally fine. You can't assume that they are going to have the same height. So let's see here. For our cone, we're going to be using our volume of pi r squared h over 3. So pi times 9 squared times 12. I think that was the right answer. Yep, 12 all over 3. So let's see here. 9 squared is 81. I'm going to do 3 and 12 and reduce that, so that's going to give me 4. So 81 times 4, let's see here, 8 times 4 is 32. So 324 pi. That's for our cone. Now we got to do our cylinder. All right, so that one again, now we're doing pi r squared h. We don't have to divide by 3. Radius is the same. Height is the same. So the fun part, 81 times 12. I could try to cheat a little. My brain kind of hurts. It's the end of the day. So no harm, no foul. Don't worry. You'll get to use your calculator, so you don't have to get mad at me. So we're going to have 972 pi. Now, one other thing. I'm going to keep pointing out all these mistakes I see while I'm grading your quizzes. Like, oh my gosh. You get to something like this, and then you have your work everywhere, and then you're not adding the right numbers together, or you just write one answer. And it makes me sad. We need to add those two together. So we can say our total volume is going to equal 324 plus 972. So that's 1296 pi. Also, if any of you are noticing any mistakes while I'm doing this, let me know. As Ethan is well aware, that's how he earned an extra credit point, because he's just that awesome. All right, so let's see here. Find the volume of the figure. Boom, all done. Find the volume of the right prism. So let's see here. We've got, okay. So I noticed that there's a right angle here, which means that there has to be a right angle here. So we're going to go ahead and move that over. Now, I've taught you all a lot of things. Hopefully, being a good person is still engraved in most of your brains. One other thing I've taught you is that in a right triangle, to find the area, we always want to use the legs because the legs are where you're going to find the height and the base length. So for this base area, we're going to say that it's 1/2, because it's still a triangle, 5 times 3. So 15 times 1/2. We could say, you know what? We could say 7.5. All right. And then right here, that's the height of our solid. So since it's a prism, volume equals base area times the height. So 7.5 times 10. So we get 75. Wait for it. What's the units? Meters cubed. Okay, let's keep going. Number 6. Find the volume of the right prism in exact form. Ooh, look at that. We got another triangle. So many triangles, man. Here's our base. Technically, the bottom part is our base as well. Again, that 4 you can write up here. Now we're going to do the same thing like we did on number 1. The difference here is that when I draw in my heights, you'll notice that the triangle created here, because it's not equilateral, I don't know anything about its angles. There we go. I don't know anything about the angles, so don't start adding in random information. Okay, add in the stuff you do know. We do know for a fact that the base gets cut in half, so that bottom's going to be 2. We don't know the height of the actual triangle. We know the hypotenuse. So right here, we're going to go ahead, and now we're going to do the Pythagorean Theorem. All right, let's do some math. H squared plus 4 squared. Wow. Let's try that again. H squared plus 4 equals 36. So let's take the H, or let's get H squared by itself by subtracting 4 from both sides. So now we're going to have 36 minus 4, 32. Got to take the square root of both sides. Wait a second, Mr. T. 32 is not a perfect square, so I'm going to leave it alone. No, you're not going to leave it alone. You're going to break it down. So check this out. 32, right? If we break this down, I'm going to use the perfect squares method because that's just quicker. I know that 4 goes into 32, 9 doesn't, 16 does, and I'm pretty sure 16 is our biggest perfect square. 16 times 2. So if we take the square root of 16, that's going to give us 4. Square root of 2 we leave alone, so that's our height. So h equals 4 rad 2. That's the height of your base, not the height of the solid. The height of your solid is this one right here. Let's go ahead now and find the area of our base. Then go right ahead and find our volume. So base is a triangle. So oh my goodness, 1/2 of 4, not 2. Remember, we're still using this base. Bigger circle. There we go. 4 times 4 rad 2. Alrighty. 4 times 4 is 16. I take half of 16, I get 8. So 8 rad 2. Go with the volume. Volume equals, it's a prism, so I do base area times the height. So that's going to be 8 rad 2 times our 17. At this point, you'll probably be typing it into your calculator. So 17 times 8, 8 times 17, blah, blah. So you're going to get 136 rad 2. And that's going to be inches cubed. By the way, if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me during the live stream. I know there's 4 of us watching, technically 3, but I got you. All right, the volume of our cone. So our cone right here is going to have a radius of 8. I don't know the height, but I think you know the drill. No, no. Well, that was kind of cool. I made the circle into a trapezoid. Right? Again, special right triangle. I don't know why I said special right triangle. I meant Pythagorean triple. You knew what I meant. So h is going to equal 6. Again, you need to show your work or you need to write how you got it. All right? Volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. So pi times 8 squared times 6 all over 3. I know 8 squared is 64. I know 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I'm going to get 128 pi. And then, of course, don't forget units. Feet cubed. Yes. I got 2 free tacos. Speaking of tacos, that might be a great dinner for tonight. All right. Number 7's done. We're like more than halfway done, y'all. We're halfway there. Whoa. We got lots of work. All right. Number 8. We are taking one cylinder and cutting it out of another cylinder. So guess what that means? We're going to be subtracting 2 different volumes. Well, here we go. I'm going to look at the volume of the big shape and subtract from it the volume of the little shape. Well, I'm given the diameters on both of these. So what I need to do is I need to say, hey, if I'm given the diameter, my radius for this one is 3, and my radius for this one is 1. The height is going to be the same from both solids, so I don't have to worry about changing anything there. So I'm going to say volume 1, which will be my big solid. So that's going to be pi r squared h. So that's going to be pi times 6 squared times 6. Why did I just say 6? Good job, Mr. T. Let's try 3. That's my radius. All right. So 3 squared is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. And then, of course, don't forget your pi's. Volume 2 is going to be our inside cylinder. Again, same formula. So that's going to be pi times 1 squared times 6. So that's going to be 6 pi. So we're going to go ahead and subtract those volumes. 54 pi minus 6 pi. Now, just because I'm subtracting these numbers doesn't mean I get rid of the pi, right? They're still units in a sense. So 54 pi minus 6 pi, we're going to get 48 pi centimeters cubed. There's our volume of the remaining solid. Aw, yeah. All right, the volume of this solid, we're going to do one of 2 things. Really, it depends on your preference. If you wanted to, why do we subtract? Because it says the remaining solid. So the remaining solid, we're saying that we're cutting out a hole. So if you're cutting out a hole of that size, then what you're doing is you're removing the volume. You're removing how much stuff is in there. You could think of it as a drill. If that makes sense. You're drilling a hole into a cylinder. So right here on this solid, we can do this one of 2 ways. We can say that we want to calculate a total volume if we pretended there was still a piece in there. If you kind of imagine, hey, there's still a solid here, and you're subtracting it from the overall shape. So this is like our section we've cut out. So the total solid, if we use the numbers, and I'm sorry that I removed them, here's this 3 plus this 1. That gives you a height 4. So because this is a nice rectangular prism, we could find our total volume. And so that would just be 5 times 7 times 4, right? That's the outside. 5 times 7 times 4. So that's 140. And then we'll want to subtract from it that green block, that inside prism that we sort of created. So to get rid of that piece, we need to find its volume. It's going to have the same length of 7 here. It's going to have a width of 4 here. And it's going to have that height of 3. So the missing piece is going to be 7 times 4 times 3. So let's see here. 4 times 3 is 12. 7 times 12, 84. So the leftover section is going to be 140 minus 84. So we're going to have a 6 in the end. So 8, 9, 10. So 56 centimeters cubed. I don't know why that seems a little off. Nope, we got that. All right. Just give it a moment to sink in. The other way you could do this, you could also break up the solid that you have right now. I'm going to temporarily move this over. You could also break this down into two different solids. You could say I could break it down the line here. So you'd have one volume here that you could calculate. You would then have another volume right here that you could calculate. So again, it's all on your preference. Do you want to break up little pieces or find the volumes of little pieces? Or do you want to find the volume of an entire section and then remove a chunk? You are going to get the same answer. This second way is going to involve a little more work in terms of finding what missing parts go where. All right. Gonna undo that stuff that I did. Come on, just work. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Find the volume of this solid. So this is again a composite solid. You do have to have the formulas memorized. Yes, I unfortunately am holding you to such a high standard, Elijah. But I believe in you. That's why I do what I do. I do what I want. Okay, microphone was acting weird. Okay, so check this out. We have a square base, and since the one pyramid on the top is on top of the prism down below, they're going to have the same base. And I gave you the height. Wow, how nice of me. You're so nice, Mr. T. I know, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. So here's our pyramid. Also, don't ever fall for pyramid schemes. They're never a great idea. And then our prism. So for our prism, we're going to find its volume by doing 11 times 11 times the height, which is 5. volume equals 11 times 11 times 5. So 121 times 5, that's going to be 605. Pretty sure. 10, yeah. And then our pyramid. Now, just for quick reference, our pyramid does have a square base. So this base area is going to be 11 times 11, which is 121. So let's just plug it in. Pyramid, volume, base area times the height, all over 3. So we're going to have 121 times 6, all over 3. Now I know that 6 divided by 3. What's up, Jonathan? I miss you, buddy. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 121 times 2, 242. Okay, Nabby, calm down there. So now, total volume, we're going to add those two volumes together. 605 plus 242. So that's going to give us 7, 4, 8, 847. What are units? Cubic feet. Okay, I don't know why this number seems off as well. 847. Let's check that out. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Sí se puede. Volume of this solid. Ooh, this one's a funky one. Funky fresh. Again, not too much crazy work. You just have to do what we did back in Unit 8 with finding your areas. So our base is a hexagon, has a side length of 4. So that means our base area, we're going to use 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Oh, that's another thing too. Some of you were using this formula for the area of a regular triangle. I was like, what the heck? Don't shoot yourselves in the foot. You guys can totally get like all these points by thinking through. Take your time. I don't rush you guys. I know you guys might have been under pressure that day because you had the sub, but still, don't rush. Use your brain. All right. So, anyways, back to the math. So, we're going to have these little triangles inside of here. So, 360 divided by 6 sides. So, that's going to give us 60. And then, of course, again, we are going to resort back to our slicing in half to get the apothem. So that's going to give us, we could do better. Can always do better. Yeah, whatever. So that's going to give us 30 degrees up here. And then 60 down here. The 4 that was down there gets cut in half, so it becomes a 2. So 2, rad 3. There's my apothem. And then, of course, the perimeter. There's 6 sides. So 6 times 4, 24. So let's take a look here. Base area is 1/2 of 2 rad 3 times our 24. Well, the 1/2 and 2 cancel out, so I'm pretty sure we're just going to have 24 rad 3. All right, so now we have the base area. Thankfully, the height was given to us. It is 8. So for our pyramid here, we're going to use 1/3, or we can, why not? Base area times the height divided by 3. So our base, why 2 rad 3? Special right triangle, 30, 60, 90. The 60 is the long leg, and the 2 is the short leg. So you take short leg times rad 3, you get the long leg. Let's see, 24 rad 3 times the height of 8 all over 3. I can take 24 and divide by 3. So that's going to get me 8 rad 3 times 8. So that's 64 rad 3. And then meters cubed. Okay. By the way, what I really love about this microphone is it's not picking up every sound that's in my room. Well, this isn't my room, but in the room. Like I have my turtle tank right off to the side, swimming around with the filter going. So there's always sound, but it's not getting picked up. This is quite an awesome microphone. Got it for 37 bucks with the rig and everything. So awesome. Maybe I'll become a professional YouTube star. Probably not. I'm not entertaining enough. Okay. We've got our volume there. We're on the last one. We're so close to being done. And I've only been going for 41 minutes. Oh well. The volume of this solid. We can make our lives easy or we can make our lives difficult. I vote for easy. Road to 1 million. You're so funny, buddy. So check this out. We have right here and right here combined one cylinder. One cylinder, and we have one rectangular prism. It's going to be fun drawing all over. Oh. So for our cylinder, we don't want to have to worry about taking half of anything and then adding it back up. Just remember, this is together one cylinder. Well, in order to find the area of our cylinder, we're going to need to know its height, and we're going to need to know its radius. Thankfully, this 8 that's down here can also be written here. So this length is 8. Well, that 8 represents our diameter for the cylinder. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take half of it, and that'll give us our radius. Now the height of your cylinder, luckily for us, right there, it's our 5. So cylinder for volume, let me write the word cylinder. Our volume is equal to pi r squared h. So we're going to have pi times 4 squared times the height of 5. So 4 squared is 16. 16 times 5, that's 80. So 80 pi. Now we have the prism. Now this prism is rectangular, so I don't have anything to worry about besides multiplying the 10 with this 8 and this 5. Length times width times height. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 10, 400. Now, adding these together, we're going to take 80 pi and the 40, 400. Don't know why I said 40. So the total volume, well, I can't add 80 pi to a plain old 400. 400 ain't got no pi, so we ain't got no business adding those together. So the only thing you can actually do is actually write, and the order doesn't matter. You can write it as 400 plus 80 pi, or you can write it as 80 pi plus 400. Now, if I recall, I believe we put the pi units second. Yep. So I'm not going to care which order you put it in. Just make sure that I can read it. And then, of course, don't forget your units. Meters cubed. And that's it. That's your entire review in 45 minutes. Not too shabby. Was it a lot of work? Maybe a little bit. Just 12 problems. I believe on your actual quiz, it'll probably be just 7 or 8. We're going to review the entire first half of class. You take the quiz, and then you'll be good. Yes, I can go back to number 1, sir. There you go. Well, let's make our lives a little easier. I didn't have to go all the way over there. There we go. You're welcome, Elijah. Now, if you have any other questions that don't entail to, how many questions are on our quiz? Is it going to be easy? Are we going to eat pie? Which problems are more similar to the quiz? All of them, Ariana. That's why I gave you a review. What? Okay, that was bad. But yeah, no, I'm not. They're all fair game. Heck, even questions from your homework are fair game. These are just practice problems. I would always review your 9495 homework, which, by the way, I need you guys to turn in to me tomorrow because I didn't get to check those. We'll also turn in the 96, right, 9495, 96. We need to check those. And I believe that should be it. Yeah. By the way, Hip Hop Club is doing a fundraiser tomorrow for Panda Express. If you want a flyer, just let me know. I'll have them in the room. Why is it a 30, 60, 90 triangle? Great question, Ethan. So that triangle is equilateral because all 3 sides have a length of 4. So by default, ooh, apple pie, yes. By default, all 3 sides, all 3 angles are going to be 60 degrees. Well, when you draw that altitude in, it's going to cut the top angle in half. So it becomes 30. The corner is still 60, and then you have the right angle of 90. See, I love apple pie. So check this out, Elijah. I love apple pie when it's warmed up and you put some vanilla ice cream on top. Have it a la mode. I also really love the Oreo pie that I've made before. Like, it is literally the bombest thing. I just hate that I don't have time to make the pie for you guys. If I make one pie and like split it up so small, like that's just not fair to your guys' taste buds. It really isn't. I also love pumpkin pie, obviously seasonal, but pumpkin pie is great. Banana cream pie is actually really good too. Can I see the volume formulas, please? Sure, right there. Now, for your quiz, you only have to put one of those. You don't have to put both. Just put one. Okay, just the 1/3 base area times height, or just the base area times height over 3. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you pick. Just stick with one. It's only 4 formulas. You don't. It's not a lot to have memorized. Really isn't. Oh man, getting tired. This mic is really awesome though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It is so cool. I'll have to listen back on YouTube just to see how it sounds, at least on my computer, but I didn't hear any white noise when it was silent. It was super cool. You're welcome, Ethan. Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep because Lord knows I need to catch up on it. Y'all don't stay up too late, okay? I know you guys want to, probably study, but don't overdo yourselves, okay? Just, oh, that looks so much better. I shouldn't have the white light, the bright screen from my bright screen. Well, I shouldn't have the screen brightness on so much. Yeah, that looks way better. You're welcome, Ariana. You're welcome, Ethan. And good luck, Elijah. You're all my awesome kids right now. Have a good night. Take care.